Hi everybody, my name is Matthew. I went from zero to executive in the tech industry in about 9 months, worked at Oculus and Instagram and Cameo, and now I want to help coaches and fitness professionals live a more inspiring life. So this is the first video in a series of videos that I've been really wanting to do for you guys. It basically pulls the curtain back on the best practices and the best apps that the top people in the tech industry use so that you can use it in your coaching business. So in this first video, we're going to talk about my all-time favorite app, Linear. So this app is how all the top people in the tech industry that I know wake up every single morning and know exactly what they need to do that day and stay inspired day in and day out long term and keep pushing toward their dreams. Okay, so this is demo time for Linear. This answers the question, what is the best thing that I can do today? And we need to chat through a few things before I show you the software. The software basically, once you download it and log in, looks basically like this. The first concept is turning work into points. The second concept is turning priorities into a hike. And the third concept is building anything is like building muscle. Okay, so this first concept is turning work into points. What does that mean? Any kind of chunk of work is called an issue, and issues that are chunks of work have point values. You can think of this like quantifying your run or quantifying your lift. You know how many reps, how many sets, what the resistance is, things like that. We're basically quantifying the amount of work. And there's a system for this. And this is my favorite part of this process. So we use what's called the Fibonacci sequence. So a 1-pointer or an issue or a chunk of work that is assigned 1 point, that means you can probably get that done in like 10 minutes to an hour-ish, maybe a couple hours, something like that. It's kind of a small thing. You could get multiple of these done in a day. If something's going to take part of a day, it gets 2 points. If it's something's going to take a whole day, it gets 3 points. And then if something is going to take larger than that, like part of a week, it gets 5 points. Again, we're doing Fibonacci sequence here. And then if something is going to take a whole week, that is 8 points. And the rule is that you can't have anything larger than 8 points. It can't ever go up to 13 or beyond. If it does, if something is larger, like recording a YouTube video that might take a week or two to actually finish everything by the time you come up with the idea and write the script and all that stuff, it needs to be broken down into smaller issues. So nothing larger than an 8 is the rule. So with creating a YouTube video, for example, I might put the script at like a 3 because it would take me all day. I might put recording it at a 5 because that would take me part of the week. I would probably put editing it at a 3. That's how that works. And then in order to group things together, we have something called projects. So let me just show you how this works. Once you log in and authenticate and create your account and everything, then you'll get this sidebar and you can name your workspace whatever you want. There's lots of other features in here that I'll let you explore on your own. But just getting quick and dirty started, basically you can add a project like first YouTube video. And you don't need to worry about any of these other things right now. Just create the project. One thing that I like to do because I'm aesthetically oriented is set like an icon and a color, like whatever you want. And you can create as many projects as you want. You might, get 10 more leads, like whatever you think. And you can color code these to be different colors for different reasons. Whatever you want. And then when you go into a project, you can then click on issues, and then that's how you create the units of work. So for the first YouTube video, I might write a script, something like that. Okay, let's add one more issue here. You can use this plus button if you want to. Let's do edit video. There we go. Okay, so now we have 2 issues here, which are 2 chunks of work. If we click back on projects, you can see the projects. If you click back into the first project, you can see what we just created. So now what we want to do is we want to assign point values. We got projects, we got some issues. So points is the last thing. In order to do that, this is something you'll just have to do initially to set it up. You want to click where your kind of workspace name is here, with issues, projects, and views underneath it. Click on this little more menu button and go to team settings and then click on general. And again, you should only have to do this once. You want to go to issue estimation and you want to pick Fibonacci, which is what we just talked about. Now what you want to do is you want to click on back to app, and then you want to click on your issue again. This is something we just made, and you want to hit set estimate here. And editing the video will probably take me part of a day or maybe a full day, so I'll set it to a 3. And then click back to the project title here, or you can click on projects and go into the project this way. It tries to make it easy for you. If you're not seeing these issues, sometimes it goes on to the overview page. You can go back to the issue page. Let me show you what a real one looks like, just so you know what we're doing. This is what I'm currently working on for our business side, and then this is what we're currently working on with the tech side in my current company. And so basically you can track things as I finish things and mark them as done. This graph changes and you can see I'm slowly getting stuff done. So if I were to get all this done, you can see the graph go up. So now everything that I've started, I've gotten done. And so it's essentially a way to kind of track your progress the same way that you would track progress running or progress lifting or anything like that. Let's say I move this into in progress. You can see what's in progress versus what's being completed here in this graph. So we've assigned this to 3. Let's assign write script. Let's say that's going to take me also all day, so I'll assign it to a 3. So now we have these, and let's create one more issue. Let's say add music. And you can assign a point value right here in this window. If you want to assign it to be a 1, let's say it's going to take you like 10 minutes to an hour to find music. That's how you turn work into points. What's really nice about this is it just kind of forces you to focus in and say, okay, what are all the different pieces that I need and how much effort is this going to take? Points are supposed to be related to effort. It's sort of like how much effort does it take to lift an object? You're not exactly sure what the object weighs. You're not exactly sure like how cumbersome it's going to be. It's like you're trying to move like a chair into another room. That might be more effort than trying to move a book from one room to the other. So points allow you essentially to quantify the level of effort to get some of this work done. That's why it's valuable. Okay, the second thing is prioritization. So there's 2 key concepts here that we need to talk about that will probably be new to you, and this is where the magic happens. Basically, the way that I think of priority is like I'm hiking to a destination that I want to get to. Like, let's say I want to make, I don't know, $1 million in revenue per month for my company or something like that. Prioritization forces me to ask the question, is what I'm going to do today moving me toward that goal? Is there something else that would move me more toward that goal? If I think of my destination as a place on a hike, am I stepping toward that goal? Am I taking one step? Am I taking multiple steps? Am I hiking away from that destination? Like, priority is just about what's going to move me toward my goal the fastest or the best. So when you're hiking and there's multiple ways up a mountain, you might go the way that's got the least amount of rock climbing and that's the most direct route, versus if you go off to the left, it might have more rocks or it might not be as direct. And so prioritization is just about looking at what I'm about to do and saying, does this move me toward my goal, toward the destination I want? And is this multiple steps toward it? Is it just one step toward it? Is there something that would get me multiple steps toward it? So that's how you turn priorities into a hike. In order to make this work in linear, we need to turn on something called cycles. So again, this is just something you'll have to do one time. But again, come back to your workspace name and click on team settings. And then you go down to cycles and click on cycles and hit enable. And then you want to configure this to 1 week cycle. And so basically what this means is that you're going to take a bunch of chunks of work, a bunch of issues, and you're going to decide what you're going to do for the next week. And then you're going to rinse and repeat that process week over week. So everyone in the tech industry only picks what they're going to do the following week, focuses on that. That way there's not this like massive to-do list that's hanging over their head. It allows them to hyper-focus on what is the next best thing that I can do? What exactly do I need to do today that's going to move me toward my goal the most or the best? Kind of cuts out all the noise. I start my sprints on Wednesdays, so it goes Wednesday to Wednesday, but you can start it on Monday or whatever day works best for you. So now what we need to do is we need to have the concept of backlogs versus cycles. So anything that is not in a cycle is what's called the backlog. It's just like kind of this nebulous container, like a suitcase, where you just throw a bunch of shit. It's your messy space. It's like a messy room in the house that needs to be organized. Anything that you need to do, you just throw into the backlog. It's just an unruly, chaotic place. And then what you do is you take issues that are in the backlog and you pull them into the cycle in order to focus on it. So you then sort through that kind of junk drawer and you pick out what it is that you want to focus on that's going to get you the best step forward toward your destination, and you put it into the cycles. So let's say what I'm going to do first is I'm going to write the script. I click on this issue again and I click add to cycle. And so we've got an upcoming cycle that we just created because we turned on cycles. So click on that and now it's in cycle 1. And then I'm going to go back to my project by clicking up here. Notice that write a script has now been moved from backlog to do. And if I click on cycles over here and I click on the first cycle, you can now see that it contains write a script. I also change my cycle view to be if I go to display and I go to board, which is what I was showing you earlier. I like this configuration personally because I like dragging and dropping things. And it reminds me of when I first started in tech, we had like a big whiteboard. And on the left-hand side, we had a bunch of post-it notes of everything we needed to do. And then on the right-hand side was the cycle. And we would take the post-it notes and physically move them across the whiteboard as we got stuff done. And I really loved that because the entire team could see the whiteboard and could see what everyone was working on. And it was this very like unifying, exciting thing to do. So this basically kind of simulates that. Let's go back to projects and let's go back to the first project that we made and let's add music to the cycle as well. So add to cycle again, put it in the first cycle. And so now when we go back to cycles and we go to the first cycle that's coming up, you have these 2 issues in here now. And as you get things done, there's a couple ways you can get stuff done. So let's say I decide to start working on the script. I can click on this issue and I can change it from to do to in progress. That's one way of doing it. And then if you go back to the cycle, you can see it's now in progress. Another way of doing it that I find fun is I take this add music, or go with write a script. Let's say I start writing the script. I could just drag this into in progress here and it will open it up there. And then let's say I start working on the music too. I can also just drag the music there. It auto hides any columns that don't have an active issue in there to try to make it smaller for you. And then let's say I get done with writing a script, so now that's in done. So that's basically how you track things. Okay, so let me show you how this one looks full. So we've got a bunch of different projects here in our tech team, and then we've also got issues that we're working on currently, and then we've got a whole bunch of issues in our backlog. The cycle allows us to basically focus in on what's the most important thing that we need to do right now. And it also allows us to track how well we're doing that. So that's the magic of this software. All right, so the last piece here is building anything is like building muscle. What you want to do is about every single week, you want to have 8 to 15 points of work that you're getting done. So an 8-pointer would take you about all week. I tried to get additional smaller tasks on top of that done as well. And so in this particular case, we have 4 points total. Basically, the way that I do it is every single like Thursday or Friday, I will go in and kind of click on cycles and go to the one that's coming up and take issues and put them in here. The editing, let's say I'm going to put that one into the upcoming cycle. I would add it to cycle number 2. So now when I come to cycles, I've got the work that I'm going to do this week, and then I've also got the work that I'm going to do next week. And so every Thursday or Friday is when I plan out kind of the next week's work. And so then when Monday rolls around, all I have to do is I have to just open up the current cycle, whatever the current cycle is, and I can see all the shit that I need to do that week. And I basically just spend the week moving those things across the board. And the most important thing I want to say here is that just like with building a muscle, you need to give your muscles rest and recovery time. The same is true for work. If you're crushing 8 to 15 points of work and you get all of that done by like Wednesday, then you need to stop. This is another secret of the tech industry that people don't really talk about, is like we don't overload ourselves. It's all about sustained, continuous effort over time, just like building a muscle. You just got to get it in that consistency every single week, and then your muscle will grow. If you need help with prioritization or deciding what's going to get you toward your destination, let me know and I can make a video on that. If you have any questions at all about linear overall, how to do something or how to do these steps, please mention it in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.